Yeah, man. So it seems this morning Don Lemon got arrested, and we already know Don Lemon invaded a church. You know what I'm saying? And if you don't know the backstory of that, man, let me see if I can pull it up right quick before we read the article, so people can really understand what happened. You know what I'm saying? Don Lemon invaded the church in Minneapolis, and we already know what's going on in Minneapolis about you know shootings and stuff like not just shooting, but ICE agents and stuff like that. So I guess people was um protesters whatever went inside a church, and that's kind of what happened. And Don Lemon was one of the people that was kind of interviewing. You know what I'm saying? And he got a lot of backlash for that. You know what I'm saying? He got a lot of backlash for that. You know what I'm saying? And some people say he was the head honcho for that whole situation. You know, the backstory of what really happened or whatever. You know what I'm saying?
The Department of Justice is investigating the anti-ICE protesters who disrupted services at a church in Minnesota over the weekend.
But the state's attorney general claims the demonstrators and journalist Don Lemon, who was with them, did not break the federal law the DOJ is accusing them of. Doug Lazader joins us live from Washington with all the details. Hi, Doug.
Carly and Todd, good morning. This was an extraordinary escalation of the protests in Minnesota, the storming of a church. Now, here's how this played out. As former CNN host Don Lemon joined with protesters who believed one of the pastors at a church in St. Paul had connections to ICE.
We're here to worship. We're here to worship Jesus because that's the hope of these cities. That's the hope of the world is Jesus Christ.
I want to be very respectful. Please don't push me, though.
We're here to worship Jesus. Yes. That's why we're here. Yeah. Okay. That's why we're here. Okay. That's what we're about.
Don't you think Jesus would be understanding
we're about
and love these folks?
We're about spreading the love of Jesus.
But did you try to talk to them as a Christian?
No one is willing to talk.
Minnesota's attorney general says protesters who stormed that church did not violate what's called the Federal FACE Act, but the Justice Department may not see it that way.
What you saw there was anti-Christian, anti-law enforcement rioters storming a church in this country, and that's a violation of law, and we are absolutely investigating. Our Civil Rights Unit has already sent experts out to Minneapolis today. The Civil Rights Unit, the U.S. Attorney's Office, the FBI, DHS is investigating this because what you saw the fear in the eyes of the members of that church.
Now, Lemon, meantime, defended his actions, saying this in a statement. It's notable that I've been cast as the face of a protest I was covering as a journalist, especially since I wasn't the only reporter there. That framing is telling. I stand by my reporting. Lemon has said that racism is a part of the ongoing immigration enforcement efforts. He has also said that some of his critics have a sense of entitlement based on white supremacy. Todd and Carl.
Yeah, the double down did not end there. Doug, thank you. For more on the double down from Don Lemon, let's bring in Tony Perkins, president of the Family Research Council, a former pastor and police officer.
So that was basically the situation with Don Lemon, and Don Lemon kind of he went on TMZ as well, and also say he didn't do anything wrong or whatever. You know what I mean? A lot of people, like I say, don't really like Don Lemon. You know what I mean? But he did got arrested this morning just for that. I just wanted to give you just a little back story of just why he got arrested. You know what I mean? Let me see if I can play a small clip right quick.
And to a Fox News alert, journalist Don Lemon has been arrested in connection with an anti-ICE protest at a church in St. Paul, Minnesota. Bill Malusian joins us now with more on this breaking news. Hey, Bill.
Yeah, Charlie, good morning to you. Our colleague David Spunt and I getting this breaking news from multiple law enforcement sources just minutes ago, confirming that former CNN anchor Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles just after midnight this morning at a hotel. This obviously all in connection with that storming of a church in St. Paul, Minnesota by that group of anti-ICE agitators. Now remember, the feds had gone to judges to try to get Don Lemon arrested before. They went to a magistrate judge in Minnesota who didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went went to a judge above him. He didn't sign off on an arrest warrant for him. Then it went to an appeals court. They also decided not to sign off for an arrest warrant for him. So there was experts who were predicting that perhaps the feds would go to a grand jury. It remains to be seen if that's what happened here, but we can confirm that Don Lemon was arrested in Los Angeles by federal agents just after midnight Los Angeles time at a hotel. Now, typically, standard procedure with an arrest like this is the defendant will likely make their first court appearance sometime the same day. So there's a chance we may see Don Lemon make his first court appearance in Los Angeles sometime today. But obviously, this is going to grab all sorts of headlines. 3 other protesters from that church storming, have already been arrested, including who the feds say was the organizer of that protest. The woman in the middle there is a school board member in St. Paul, and then the mugshot on the right is an online personality / agitator, if you want to call him that. He's known as the Woke Farmer. Those were the 3 people that the feds had already arrested, but we have confirmed that Don Lemon has now been arrested in Los Angeles in connection with that viral incident. We all saw the video of it that spread and drew widespread condemnation. The feds have been going after these people on FACE Act violations. So this is still breaking news. Once we get more details about the potential charges here, a court appearance, we'll, of course, update our viewers, guys.
Really appreciate it. Of course, if it was a grand jury that did indict him, that's pretty unimpeachable. Bill Melugin, thank you so much.
Yep.
I'm Steve.
Well, we already know Don Lemon is a high profile figure, you know what I'm saying? But these 3 people right here, it wasn't all over the news because I haven't seen these 3 right here got arrested. You know what I'm saying? It might be other people. Y'all probably seen it, but I haven't seen these 3 people really got arrested. I haven't seen them on social media, Twitter, nothing like that. But we are, like I say, Don Lemon is a higher profile figure. So that's probably one of the reasons that all news sources right now at this moment, 9 a.m., really talking about Don Lemon, you know what I'm saying? Because he's one of the people that was on CNN, and a lot of people don't like the CNN network and stuff like that, you know what I'm saying? So I guess that's why this is breaking news all over the world. You know what I mean? Crazy situation about that whole situation about them invading the church. You know what I mean? I don't know the whole backstory about that situation, man, but what's going on in Minnesota is it's kind of terrible. You know, it's sad as well, just seeing everything that's going on over there. But before I get my full conclusion on this Don Lemon situation, let's see. Let's read this TMZ article right quick. And before I read this article, in the video right here, you know, the guy said that it was other 2 departments declined to charge Don Lemon. So this is the 3rd department, grand jury or whatever. They finally about to charge Don Lemon because two departments or whatever declined to charge him, and now he's being charged the 3rd. Kind of want to say the 3rd time or whatever, but you know, grand jury or whatever. So that's kind of like suspicious right there. Like 2 other departments already declined to charge him. Now on the 3rd try, he's being charged. That's kind of suspicious right there, man. But y'all tell me what y'all think. So TMZ said, man, Don Lemon arrested by feds in Los Angeles. Let me pull the whole article up. So it says former CNN article anchor Don Lemon has been arrested by federal agents in Los Angeles after being spotted at a church protest in St. Paul, Minnesota earlier this month. The New York Times reports he was charged for violating a federal law during the anti-AIDS protests at city's church on January 18th by impeding people's right to worship. The journalist's lawyer, Abby Lawyer, released a statement condemning the arrest as a distraction tactic by Trump administration and argued he was present at the demonstration as a reporter. Her argued in part, the First Amendment exists to protect journalists whose role is to shine light on the truth and those in power accountable. There is no important time for people like Don to be doing this work. Lowell continued, instead of investigating the federal agents who killed 2 peaceful Minnesota protesters, the Trump Justice Department is devoting its time, attention, and resources to this arrest, and that is the real indictment of wrongdoing in this case. This unprecedented attack on the First Amendment and transparent attempt to distract attention from the many crises facing this administration will not stand. Don will fight these charges vigorously and thoroughly in court. We told you about it. The federal government sought to charge 8 people following a demonstration in the city's church, including Lemon, but a manager judge only approved charges against only 3 people, not including Lemon. A federal appeals court also denied a petition by the Justice Department to issue the additional warrants. The demonstration involved about 30 to 40 people and was meant to confront the city's church pastor, David Eastwood, a Minneapolis ICE official. He was not present at the church when the protest erupted. Wow. So they was basically about to arrest just 3 people, you know what I'm saying, and not Lemon. So like I say, man, they 2 other times it was already denied, you know what I'm saying, for trying to charge Don Lemon. And now that this is the 3rd time that he's, now somebody about to charge him. So that is kind of suspicious right there. And like I say, Don Lemon has, um, ever since he's been on CNN, and next thing you know, he's not on CNN no more. He's like an independent journalist now, you know what I mean? And now he's, with that Nicki Minaj, Donald Trump, and stuff like that. So a lot of people don't really like this guy. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not a fan. You know what I mean? I don't hate this guy or whatever, but then again, it's like, everybody got a freedom of speech. And one thing I tell people, man, you got a freedom of speech to say whatever you want. You know what I mean? You got a free speech to say whatever you want. But you also got to remember there's consequences behind that, whatever you say. You know what I mean? And Don Lemon going in there at church, it was, I think it was wrong. You know what I mean? Confronting that pastor or whatever. You know what I mean? And I guess he wanted to, get a story out there. You know what I mean? Not just exploit the situation, but get a story out there. Because what's all going on in Minneapolis, it is sad. And a lot of people around the world do need to see what's going on in these situations with this administration. You know what I'm saying? Why Donald Trump is leading this whole thing. You know what I mean? So, but him going in there, I kind of get it. Then again, it's like, you probably shouldn't went in there. You know what I'm saying? You probably shouldn't went in there because it's gonna be all in the news, and they're gonna make you enemy number one, and that's exactly what happened. Crazy situation, man. Once again, man, Don Lemon has been arrested. I'm not gonna go too much into it, but y'all tell me what y'all think about this situation, yo. It's wild.